with Clarksburg Land Reuse Agency, Thursday, April 16th, 2026, 9:03 a.m. Roll call.
Upon arrival.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I don't mean to. I'm vice chair.
Then you go right ahead.
No, I didn't know that Tiffany was not going to.
Then you take over, ma'am.
Well, I don't know. I'm not prepared. Nobody mentioned that was not, but I do want to, I should probably, in point of order, make mention, but let's make a motion that Steve lead the meeting according to the agenda.
Yes, I'll make that motion. Or second, whatever.
Yeah, second that motion.
I'm good with it.
All in favor? Aye, Steve, thank you. But in the future, if Tiffany's not going to be here, I probably should be prepared to do that.
Would you rather run the meeting yourself?
No, I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared. I have plenty to say, but I'm not prepared to run the meeting, but just to be a point of order.
I see no one here for public comment, so unfinished business. And then we have
I don't believe so.
Did we have unfinished business regarding the legislation that we were going to consider last time, but I think we tabled that. I'm not sure what the action was. But the legislation the city wanted to sponsor, having the city fees piggybacked into the.
Yeah, that was something I think that we're going to kind of work through the municipal league.
Right.
Yeah.
That was part of the strategy, and I think it was going to come back to us for our consideration for endorsement again.
I don't think Ms. Fall has any further information pertaining to that.
Okay.
Since I would say since the legislative session is over, it would be something that we would consider obviously for next year.
Sure, yeah, I think that's what she said at the last meeting, but, okay. That probably should stay on unfinished business, I suspect.
New business, update on any active properties of the LRA. I'll refer to Jason.
So presented to you guys today is the current inventory pulled off of the Harrison County IDX website, utilizing the firm name of Clarksburg Land Reuse Agency. The first several pages are properties that we currently own, and if you flip back to the last page, highlighted in orange is going to be the properties that we have transferred to other owners. Richard has a lot of information on anything as far as status of any of the ones that are currently in our name. We have worked with several entities trying to unload some of these, but as far as what is currently in our records is presented to you in front of you. There are a lot that we could get rid of. In the future, we've got an email address set up to where the neighboring property owners, when they get their letters, they get the first option to purchase the properties or obtain the properties through whatever means we deem necessary. In the future, I think we need to look into that email account and start scheduling some of these to unload them.
Just a note, I'm a big fan of that HGTV show Bargain Block. It's in Detroit, and Detroit is well known for its land reuse because of so much loss of occupancy and loss of population that they had in the 70s and 80s, and the deteriorated properties. And they were just commenting on a property that they had that they have put certain limitations on when they make property transfers as far as the use and monitoring the use to assure that it is being used for that purpose. That's going to be some of the questions I have on the properties that we have transferred, actually. But the idea is if somebody says, well, I'm doing this and I intend to put a parking lot with green space around it, that be actually a covenant that they have on it. And these folks that are doing redevelopment in Detroit that they were talking about, if it's not, then the city can recover the property.
I personally feel that under item C on the agenda, that we talk about trying to schedule a work session to go over this stuff, that's going to be a perfect opportunity to bring that kind of stuff up.
Yeah, and that's why I think those are some of the things that we want to consider for that.
And when we get that time frame scheduled, I know that we're all most of us are a volunteer group. So a lot of research ahead of time is going to benefit everybody in the whole town of Clarksburg, I think. So,
I agree with that.
Us as the city staff, of course, we're going to do our due diligence and try to make it the best we can. So, I'm a big fan in electronic communication. I know that because of those, we can't technically do that, but there's a lot of things that can be sent back and forth, as we research this stuff.
Sure. Yeah, examples from other places and what their experiences are, sure.
So two things on that. One, I remind the board once again that on anything for right first refusal, you cannot put a limitation on it. So that's number one. We talked about this before. You need to keep that in mind, anything on right first refusal, because that's by statute. They have a right on that. Anything else we can. And beyond that, we are looking to, our next goal is we're trying to get an intern to hire for the summer through WVU. And I think one of the main goals with that intern will be to go through these and prepare map, picture, some sort of handout for each one of these properties. So we have a better understanding of it. And then I'll classify for them whether or not, we're not going to do it unless it's already off right first refusal. So anything, there are probably 2 properties that are still on right first refusal that we need to resolve from 2025. And then anything that there's a big group there from 2026, those letters have been on hand. So all those individuals have a right, all the adjoining landowners have a right to that property free and clear without any restrictions on it.
In accordance to the statute.
In accordance to statute.
Which includes, I think I read, when you sent that, by the way, thank you. It does include that they do need to submit what they're going to be doing
No,
with
it
it.
doesn't.
Not at all.
It doesn't have anything to do with that.
Okay.
The statute is very clear because prior to the LRA, and it makes sense because prior to the LRA statute being enacted, it gave the LRA a right of first refusal. Adjoining landowners had a right of first refusal to the property. So logically, they could have gone to the tax sale, exercised their right of first refusal, and gotten it free and clear.
Right. But
So-
didn't, if we haven't.
Right, but we trumped them for that. And I think as a right, the legislature said, we'll let you do that, LRA, but you still have to offer it to them. We can't put conditions on top of what we offer to them.
Gotcha, okay.
So,
All right.
now we can point out problems with it, but we can't put restrictions on it, which is where we've gotten caught up before when you all have tried to do that. It has messed up and getting those finished up, but we cannot do that for anything's on right of first refusal. So right now, that's gonna be all those properties that came in, I think in April 26th, and there's 2 more that people, we just haven't finished. Otherwise, we can do whatever we want with those properties.
So question, when we had discussed about the, including that parcel, like re-surveying it, including it as part of a single parcel, having
Yes.
a larger frontage, what authority do we have in any action, I guess, relative to those adjacent properties?
So if someone comes to us or we want to offer it for sale, then we can put whatever restrictions we want on that property.
Right.
But the properties that we are required by statute to offer, we can't do anything.
So they can take that property and keep it as an independent parcel that,
Yes,
okay,
yes, because had they gone into tax sale law, they would have gotten that same mechanism.
I gotcha, okay.
I think the most we can do is point out to the folks the problem they have with those parcels, such as if they can't build on.
Right.
So they still don't get anything, if it's not big enough to build on, you still can't build. So.
Unless you get a variance, I
Right.
suspect, which is where we want to coordinate with municipal planning, I guess. Okay. I know I had some specific question. Do we want to go down the other list of, like, the Linden School Building? We happen to be on a cleanup this weekend, and it's in further deterioration. And I knew when it was presented to us, it was supposed to be ready to go and as apartments. Later, it was going to have a different use.
So
And
it is, it's up to the board how they want to handle that moving forward. Right now, it's 24 months to get it done, to I think 70%. So they have time left, but as you point out, they're not doing anything with it. I don't know if we want to follow up now with them or wait a few more months to point out that issue and remind them of their obligations.
How long has it been since we
What,
How long has it been since we turned it over? This is September?
about May last year.
Oh, it's been that long? I was thinking.
I think as good stewards, we should reach out.
Yeah, I do too. I didn't realize it'd been almost a year ago. I was thinking it was for like 6 months, but
It's been crossing.
okay. Yeah, I would think we should reach out if the 50% of the time is going by and nothing is being done.
May 14th to 25, that's the only one that had occurred in May, so I'm assuming that's which one it is.
It's the North Central area.
Yeah, North Central Builders LLC. So, I mean, we're approaching a year, and I feel that as good stewards, we should, I'll try to reach out to him, and, with everybody's blessing here, I can reach out to him and then provide a response via email to everybody.
Yeah, I mean, maybe his plans have changed and he doesn't want the parcel anymore, and therefore, if he'd want to,
I'm not sure his plans have changed. I know his focus has changed a little bit. He's also purchased the Dagwood building adjacent next door to the golf building. And I think his motivation is to try to get that building business operational. He went in there with the intentions of doing some minor modifications, and I think he found he ended up doing some larger scale demolition work than he had planned. But he's working more aggressively, it appears, on the Dagwood restaurant there in town, and it's kind of since he did a lot of work on the inside of the stuff over at the Linden School. But, he didn't do a lot. He just did a lot of cleanup work inside. He moved all the seats up out of that auditorium that was in there. Went in and removed some garbage and some demolition stuff, some construction stuff. But then he kind of, when the winter months took over, he didn't do much work through the winter months. And now he seems to be more focused on the Dagwood. So I think it's just his priority to make sure a little bit. I think agreeing with Jason, having Jason reach out to him and making sure that his intentions are to continue to work on that. That he is under a 2-year timeline.
yeah, and I
Yeah,
think,
so where we're at, just a reminder on the agreement was they need to have 8 units or 75% of square footage within 2 years after transfer. So you said May 15.
Yeah.
So that'd be May 15 to 27. If they don't do that, then we have a right to repurchase the property for $3,500. And also if they try to transfer to a third party, we also have that right.
May 14th, just to be exact.
Okay, so, and we have that option lapse after 26 months, so we have to make sure we put a calendar entry and remember to do something with that.
Yes.
By June 1 of 27.
Is there in that agreement, is there anything stipulated that we are allowed to go in and inspect that, whether it's code enforcement or, any of the staff from the LRA?
We didn't include that, but if they have a building permit, doesn't code automatically have a right to go?
Correct. I wasn't sure if it was included in that as far as, any individual language.
I don't think it's, no, we don't have any, the LRA itself doesn't have any rights to go in there, but obviously code enforcement would, because there needs to be a valid building permit.
Right.
So is there a building permit?
Not 100% certain on that. The changeover in staff, I really, wasn't able to look too close into that portion before we came to the meeting.
so just looking at this picture of how we would want to proceed in these type of actions, that's why I really wanted this on, to do a little bit of a look back so we can see what are the things. First of all, 24 months is a long time. Maybe too long to see initial action without even a building permit. You have a year to redevelop with 8 units, which presumably we were presented that he was close to having his financing completed.
Right.
I think that's too loose as far as a testimony from a developer. I think we need more verification because we already see now that that type of attention respectfully can be shifted to another project, and therefore the LRA's interest in the redevelopment of that building continues to sort of loom. And then at the end of the day, we still have to spend $3,500 to get it back. So to me, I think it shows more of a punitive thing for the LRA than it is for the property owner to just leave it set and then you're 2 years down the road with no further development. So it seems to me like what we've learned is better information on the financing and the preparation of the proceeding? And then secondly, how can we schedule our expectations with the developer so that those can be more sure to actually happen? It seems like maybe that approach was too passive to actually see any assertive development action.
And the other issue is that nothing's being done with the building. It's sat there and deteriorated another 2 years and making it a more dilapidated condition, which is going to be even harder to do something with or more expensive to entice someone else to come in to want to redevelop it, or you're looking at a demo.
A demo, right?
So that's additional funds. So yeah, I think there needs to be more teeth in
His initial,
this.
he was pretty aggressive when he initially took the property over. I mean, he had, on a number of different occasions, he had dumpsters sitting over there and was doing an extensive amount of trash removal and cleanup on the inside of the facility. And I don't know whether the cold weather stopped him, because obviously his focus did change. Obviously, he's spending a lot more of his time and most of his efforts here on the downtown.
Probably money
Right.
when you get.
I mean, his return for his investment, if he could get obviously the restaurant open, would be much quicker. He just may not be aware, or just maybe he's reinforced that he's under a 2-year timeline with this one as well.
Well, and I think, again, not to be too tough on
No,
anybody,
but
but
we
we're
need
not
to-
inclined to extend a 2-year window at the
We
end of
need
a
to gently
2-year.
remind him that he has an obligation. And I think, that's Jason's intention, is to step in and at least reach out to him, because he's typically got a work crew, or he himself is over here at the Dagwood building almost every day. So it's
Which is great. I'm glad to
something that
hear
we
that.
can easily access him.
I think that maybe moving forward, something else we can include in the work session discussion is possibly a 6-month update from each of these.
I agree.
From each of these people that we give this property to. Now, I'm not talking vacant land, anything like that, but as far as some sort of an economic development perspective, similar to the Linden Grade School, let's get a 6-month update included into the document that we come up with.
Totally agree. I think that's very reasonable. And it's the same thing that they're providing to a lot of other people. I mean, anybody developing something is providing that to the financing entity. There's a lead bank or somebody that's part of the scenario, and they're providing regular updates to them. So that's a great idea. All right, well, that helps with Linden School. What are the other status of some of the other properties that we've had? Do we have any on the golf building transfer property that we took the parking lot action on?
I think that was, my understanding is that project is still moving forward, but to work with the cities, to work with the TIF, and have set aside for a month or two to try to work on tax implications. But I spoke with Tom Amon the other day, and they were getting the TIF going again to put that and try to wrap that up by the end of the fiscal year. So that's kind of what has been the hold up on the golf building. But that project, I think, is still discussed every week.
So just a slight update on some of the actual work that has occurred at the building. They've been in and tested for asbestos within the past 2 months. There's a lot of power supply from Mon Power in the basement of that building that actually belongs to Mon Power. There's been some work going on with that. The county commission yesterday just approved the placement of a pole in order to get power back to Stonewall Coffee, the dentist office, to where they can remove that stuff out of the basement of the golf building. Just last night at 9 p.m. I was in there. I had to go yesterday evening. I had to go let Mon Power in to remove all of the meters. And then 9 p.m. last night, they called me to come lock the building back up. So, I mean, there's definitely movement on the property.
So the meters for those on Court Street were in the basement?
It's in the basement of the golf building, correct. There was over 20 meters. Too, but developed a meter for the whole entire building. So any of the occupants there, of course, are going to have electricity included in their rents or whatever.
Sure.
So everything seems to be moving kind of behind the scenes.
YMCA? Did we took property ownership back of that?
Yeah, the LRA owns the YMCA. I mean, that has been an ongoing council wherein I'm not sure what the council's gonna ultimately do with that. There's, we retained that expert, that consultant to go through the process and figure that out, but I'm not sure where that's going. Building continues to be maintained by a combination of Public Works and the City Parks Department.
Okay. So again, for our work session, this is stuff that makes me think when I wake up at night, I think. So as owners of the YMC building, the LRA has what responsibilities, Richard? And which of the responsibilities that we have is the city assuming right now?
The city is assuming all those responsibilities, and it is, the YMCA is on the city's overall liability policy.
Okay.
So if there's an incident up there, or the thing burns down, correct, can we put that on? We just did the renewal with West Virginia with our insurer, and the building's on there, it's one of the city buildings. So from our perspective, the city and or the Parks Department are operating that right now. So they're up there cutting, I saw the guys the other day cutting grass. Doug Cudmer and his crew continues to monitor the pool to make sure it's maintained. I think, frankly, I think someone's up there about every other day or so.
Almost every day.
Okay.
Somebody checks the area for vagrant activity, make sure the building is secure. It's checked every day. I was just there yesterday, walked through the building, and the pool looks pristine. In fact, we're considering some future usage because you got a pool sitting there
Sure.
to try to get some
School teams or something using
something.
it.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed, because I drive over that hill a good bit since my office is on this side, but it's really nothing to do with me, but it's just a suggestion, is I never really see the gate locked at the
bottom gate?
At the bottom of the hill to keep folks from going up there,
That
especially.
that gate is absolutely useless because there's no gate on the exit side.
Okay, well, that's my point, I guess. Is one's not, but there's not one on the other. But I mean, is that something? Just seems like that should be barricaded in some way, just for liability. But that's just a suggestion on my part.
We put
an observation.
a marker, and we received last fall one of the West Virginia swings.
Oh,
So
Almost
in
every
cooperation with those that almost heaven swing,
Okay.
we won't be able to put a lock on that gate or shut that off because that's going to have accessibility is going to be paramount for us to maintain that. Right now, the site selected for that swing location.
They've actually been working on doing some of the work up there.
They've been working on that for the last week or two, getting the brush cut back. It's going to be out there on that lower point where that had a pavilion out there one time. Where you walk out there from the lower parking lot. It won't be from under the Y on top, but, so that, I remember years ago, there used to be a post there, in fact, James, that had a lock on it for the fire department access because they used to use that. And what the Y found out was most of the time anybody that wanted to go up there, they were just going up the exit side
Right.
and going around the gate. So,
Well, anyway, it is a suggestion. But the other thing is, I know as you look for future development up there, and I know there's discussion of a bike trail, and then there's the aspect of the Civil War trenches up there, and that seems to get used as a excuse, maybe, we can't do that because of the Civil War trenches. So, I mean, is any consideration, and again, this is probably a little beyond the LRA, even though we are involved with the building, but has there been any consideration of getting a study done on these trenches to have it clearly defined on a survey and go through the proper historic procedures to have those trenches clearly delineated on a survey? So if a future developer does come in and say, hey, this portion is fair game, but these historic Civil War trenches you can't touch. So I think that would help because there just seems to be a lot of uncertainty of how far or how close you can get to these things and exactly where they are.
that was the recommendation by John Paul to do that study. And I think he put a quote around $10,000 to get that study done, or less. But yeah, that's something that the council has been advised of. They just haven't taken any action on that.
I reached out to SHPO myself to try to get this 106 review started.
Mhm.
And unless there's a grant involved, there's really no mechanism to
Well, I don't
get
think,
that 106
yeah, I don't think
started.
this is an actual 106. I think this would just be a historic,
Historic
like an
designation.
archaeological, form an archaeological,
If you don't mind, maybe email me
because 106
how to word
is,
that when
is more if you actually have a project
Yeah, pre-development
developing it.
kind of activity.
I think it's really just more of an archaeological study. That would, some test pits would need to be made by a certified archaeologist and find really the extent of those. And again, I think, you know, I don't want to act like these things are bad. I think if they're promoted correctly, it's another asset to bring people into the city. Anything to put a sign out on the road, historic Civil War trenches, anything, if you get 10 people a month to come off the Route 50 that otherwise wouldn't, I think it's a win to get somebody downtown. So that's just a suggestion. I think it would just clear up a lot of uncertainties on that property and would help to be able to develop it.
Yeah,
further
I'm
in the
pretty sure
future,
council's gonna
and
be on
also
board,
promote
you know.
the historic nature of that hillside.
Right. Yeah, just email me whatever, wording you feel I should try to use when I reach out to SHPO or whoever it may be.
And SHPO's had some turnover as well.
Right.
Susan Pierce, who was there many, many years, she recently retired, and they have, I don't know if they have a new full-time director yet or not, but I can find that out.
Yeah, this would be useful, I'm back to our work session. This would be useful, like how do we envision the city and the LRA working together on parcels that the LRA owns? In some cities, or some places where the Land Reuse Act where there are land reuse agencies, like Clarksburg's, some of them are more or less independent than us and from the city. And so the idea is, what is the right balance relative to the work that we do as an LRA and how that interfaces with the city's interests and activities, and how much can we move forward with relative to, for example, working with the city or other entity to seek funds for something, maybe the demo fund. I know the city goes after the demo fund, but back to, humanities monies for the assessment for the property, if that's our responsibility. You see what I mean? So I think if we can add that to the work session, it helps us interface with the city better, and know how to be a little bit more assertive in the activities we're supposed to be undertaking. What other parcels do we need? Are there updatable? I'm presuming the pedestrian transfer is occurring or occurred.
It has occurred, correct. The JFV Rentals one, that was the gentleman that was going to place the parking lot next to his apartments over by the Dairy Queen in the Staley area. That one has occurred. I don't know. I don't have a status update of that work. I know he was trying to include some green space in that too, to where it's just all parking lot.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The fourth one down conveyed to Toma Wallace. She's been in the office over in Code trying to get everything taken care of on that. She'd run into some tax issues trying to get the previous tax payments made. So I communicated with the assessor's office, and she's already got that taken care of to where she owns all that free and clear.
Oh, good. Okay.
And of course, the Tommy Thomas Boxing Club and the YMCA, we've already discussed that. And then the Linden, I'll try to get an update from North Central Builders about the Linden building.
Great,
Get that out
yeah.
to you guys.
Yeah, these are all good examples of how we can model other types of activities. So.
Item C, consideration of scheduling a strategy work session.
Yes. Do we have access to Tiffany's schedule to be able to schedule something?
Up until May the 12th, she's pretty tight. And then we have several functional finance meetings that's going to have to be conducted immediately after that. Until June 1st. Yeah, we have because we had an election in the same year that we're having an election. we have to do a lot of jumping through some hoops to get things rectified, so. How much time do you want to carve out for the work session?
Well, I think we agreed that we needed, I'll just speak for myself. I think we need a series of work sessions. We've never had any, and we've already been in business for a couple of years. And I think we ought to prioritize some of the things we've learned and then set some regular scheduled ones up. Does that make sense to you? I would say that an afternoon, does that work for people? Or should we have evening work sessions? What's your, I'm available afternoon. You'd have to carve it out of your.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know how it would work for you guys if you were to pull away from your job for possibly a 2-hour meeting.
At least 2 hours, yeah.
So
probably.
I think city staff would be fine either way.
Does that work for you? To try to be able to do that? We have a regular meeting on the 21st of May, so we're trying to look after that, Steve.
Yeah, probably for a work session, if that would be acceptable. That would be, Ms. Fell would be here, obviously, during that time, and I would hate to go out on a limb and schedule a work session until she was more comfortable. That would put us well past the election. We're gonna know the outcome of council, and we should be through the initial imminent things that has to be done for the finance department for the budget, so that would give us a better, if we can maybe move this item C as far as the work session date.
Into June?
We could make a final determination on that item until the next meeting, because we have a regularly scheduled meeting, you said on the.
On the 21st, yes.
So maybe table that consideration until the next meeting.
And put that as the agenda?
Yes.
And if possible, why don't we go ahead and set a series of them so that people can schedule those up? If we feel like we want to target 3 work sessions at 2 hours apiece.
Yeah, I just think we should have one maybe before the new administration, the new council comes in, just so we can identify what some of the problems are. Then maybe have one shortly after the new council comes on, maybe even have a work session with them, so they're new members, then we can educate them more what the LRA is and how we can maybe work more together on things. So I think having one before and then maybe one, I don't want to say the 1st of July, but I mean, maybe sometime in August, that sound
Yeah, that
reasonable.
makes sense. I mean, the first one's going to be more of a brainstorming session.
Yeah, it's more for our own internal use processes of how we're doing things, and just some of the issues, like you say, we've learned here over the last 2 years, how we better define some of these things we've encountered, such as an Indian school.
All right.
All right, if I can get a motion to table that item C for the next meeting.
I'll make a motion to table item C.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to table consideration of scheduling strategy work session until the May 21st meeting. All in favor?
A point of discussion, just to make sure we note that the recommendation is to have one brainstorming session prior to the any new council taking over which one's election day, and that way we could proceed with the rest afterwards.
You get that?
I did.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's passed.
All right, before we adjourn, apparently the owner of North Central Builders is watching. I've got a text message
Oh,
with an
good.
update of Linden.
Great.
He's either watching or somebody's told him. He just randomly texted me.
Good.
On the Linden grade, the building has been completely stripped. New floor plan is being worked on. Once that is established, we will begin the excavation for water and plumbing into the building. We've taken 70 dump truck loads, roughly 200 tons of debris out of it, and the LRA is welcome to tour the building at any time.
Oh, good. That is good news.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind.
He's typing something else right now.
I wouldn't mind touring the building. I went to grade school there. I know where my.
It was still structurally, I mean, it was, inside was.
Oh, it's a brick house. No problem.
The auditorium had a little bit of issues where there's been some water damage there. James, you were in it, weren't you?
Mhm.
Yeah. The auditorium and the one beam that goes across the auditorium had some issues with it.
Has the roof been, is it intact? Do we know?
I think it's, like I said, I think it's dry inside.
That's usually the biggest issue
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, I looked at it. When was that, Jason, 2 or 3 years ago? We looked at it with another entity interested in it.
It's gonna be a nice building, when it's done, and that would be a very important asset for that neighborhood.
Motion to adjourn?
So move.
We are
Second.
adjourned.
Thank you, folks.